Hey, how's it going? How's it going, everyone? How's it going? How's it going? Wow, plushie. That sounds really awesome. What kind of plushie? Like, I need to really get my setup going on my desk because, like, I have, like, a Nahobina one and a Bridget one, and, like, both of them just kind of, like, look at me at the side. So, like, it's definitely something where I'm like, maybe I should try to, like, get something set up and, like, try to like give them almost like little like props or something like that, or some extra standees to keep them company. The hero of Amori. Oh, I feel like the art style from Amori is so adorable. I feel like I've been meaning to play that one, but it's definitely something where like I feel like I need to see that. That sounds like a really cute kind of plushie with like the kind of almost like hand drawn like kind of like aesthetic of Amori. Oh yeah, all of them are so adorable. I just kind of did like a little mini search of like all the kinds of like different ones that like have been made. And it's like, oh, the aesthetic is really cute for like plushies, but yeah, it's been a very eventful week. I'm so nervous because tomorrow I have like an event that I'm going to, and it's something where it's been a while since I've like had to like be in a car for so long. So like part of my driving anxiety kind of comes out, but I do have some medication to kind of help out with it and ease it up a bit. So that's all good. I just made the plushie naked. I'm gonna practice sewing with them. Oh, you're gonna make like clothes? Like I guess being able to make like I guess kind of almost like knit sort of like kind of outfits for him. That seems like it's a really fun thing. I imagine that like being able to create it's really nice. I know what's it called. I'm super scared of the Bridget one I have because like she has a hoodie that can come off all the way through, but I'm like, what if it like messes up and like I can't get the hoodie back on? Like or the hood part. But no. It seems like it's reasonable. This particular one. I have 100 followers now? Oh wow. Oh my. It's so intense. I'm not sure how to it's hard to deal with. I've been like thinking of like a million different ways to celebrate, but like each one I'm like, okay, do I just stream something normal? Do I do karaoke? Do I do like I guess like a read along? Do I do a drunken stream? Like what do people normally do for those like anniversary or milestone sort of celebrations? If I get the needles and yes, I got leftover fabric from old clothes, but no needles. Hopefully I'll get to visit Hobby Lobby soon. Oh yeah, nice. I feel like my mom used to do a lot of like textile and embroidery kind of stuff. I think what's it called? Maybe like back when I was a kid, she helped make like I guess some of my like old like Halloween costumes using like those little like pre-make kits from like Joanne Fabrics. But like yeah, definitely like that's really awesome. I feel like there's always just kind of like these I guess sort of like almost kind of things where you don't have to be 100% content with whatever you get in like I guess whether you get as like a plushie like you're able to just kind of like construct clothes and be able to like mix and match like almost like builds a like fashion with like different like plushies or dolls that you might get. I know it's something that I think feel like a lot of people on Etsy sell like usually those outfits, but a lot of them wind up being like kind of craftsmanship kind of stuff where you do have like needles and leftover such. Is his boss man hero suit? Let me see. Oh, that's that must be really neat. Almost kind of like this like sort of like pinstripe kind of suit. That sounds like a lot of fun. I feel like that would be a really cool one to like I guess be able to make. Yeah, I'd have to see that. It looks so cool. But yeah. Aside from I guess the tomorrow stuff, not too much has happened on my end. I got really super lucky in Fire Emblem like Heroes. because there's like the new banner out with the choose your hero stuff. So like I was able to get Robin, like just from like the sort of free pull. But like I think like as I started to kind of acquire like the little like orbs, I had just enough to get Soren. So I was able to at least get the 2 different units I was looking to get. But one of my aside from that, I should probably get into the game because I don't have too much, I guess, to talk about until maybe like Sunday-ish. I know my weekend's gonna be really busy, so I'll probably have a lot more to say on Sunday. Let's see. Just getting some tea in. Oh, whoop, whoop. Knocking the microphone out of my hands. Let's see, let's get this on. Continue. And where we left off. Let's see. It is 8:32. Perfect. Alright, so previously on the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, I learned quite a lot about this stereoscope. It's a good time. I think I have a little bit more to learn. Is that strange contraption that lets you see pictures of things as if they're right in front of your eyes. It makes you think. When Mr. Shomes gleefully showed it to us yesterday, Iris info dumped about this fun little doohickey. We were blissfully unaware that any of this was about to happen. Alright. Let's talk to little Bobby here. This officer's been staring intently at the wall since we came in here. Shh! Keep it down! Oh, sorry. There's a major clue just there.
Really? Then you must tell Gregsy at once.
But as soon as I report it, that'll be it. It'll be stuck here even longer. Stuck here? What do you mean? I haven't been home in 2 days already. I need another constable to relieve me and take over me shift. They really have a tough time, the British police.
That doesn't stop us from investigating though, does it?
No, I suppose not. I'm fairly sure that the calendar is what he was peering at. A little extra peek. Green blood. It just seems wrong somehow.
Oh, there are all sorts of different colors. There are pretty pinks and purples too, you know.
Aw man, Iris, she knows her Danganronpa. This is the Danganronpa blood colors.
Like I say, everyone's blood is different.
I wonder what color my blood would turn out. Actually, I don't want to know. Let's see if around. Oh, there we go again, the stereoscope. I'm fairly sure this contraption was here yesterday as well. Here we are. Though I'm not confident I can get it closed again.
Oh yes, that's a folding stereoscope.
Really? This is a stereoscope? Mr. Shom showed us a picture yesterday that you were supposed to be able to see in 3 dimensions. But for that, he used a great big contraption over there.
Ah well, that's for use in public spaces, in places like that. It contains a carousel with all sorts of pictures inside. But this little thing is much simpler in design to use at home. There's special shops selling prints you can use in them. I have a little collection myself.
I wonder how I could make money out of these in Japan. It would beat keeping my toilet sparkling clean anyway. Alright. Got all that going, got all this. Investigated thoroughly. No. Sorry, my controller. A little wonky. Let's see. Let's investigate. Let's investigate. Talk to this guy, talk to this guy. We got hats. Seems like everything is fine. Oh, new location's been added, okay. Oh, it's right in the storeroom. That makes sense. Poor Mr. Windibank. Oh, there's a bicycle. Teapot. Poor Iris. She's clammed up completely. Iris is bound to find this difficult. After all, Mr. Windibank's life was taken in this very room only last night. Oh! Wait, Inspector! What is it now, Sunshine? You took one look at me and tried to run away. You think a Scotland Yard inspector would run away from some jumped-up little defense lawyer, do ya? Well... I've never seen her ladyship looking like that before is the thing. I didn't know what to say to her. So you weren't running away from me? You were just, what, running away from a 10-year-old? I'm afraid this is all very much for little Iris. Some gentle reassurance might go a long way, perhaps, Inspector. Oh! Don't trouble yourself unduly, your ladyship.
I mean, at least you're not dead, are you?
That made her feel worse. I don't think that went very well.
Why?
Look, I'm in the middle of an investigation here, Sunshine, and I told you not to get under my feet. And we have investigating to do ourselves. Yes. I'd like to hear more about what the socially inept inspector has to say.
Oh, really?
And inquire how Mr. Shom's operation is going. Oh, let me take a little Manuka honey. Still gotta get things cleared up. Sorry about that. There we go. Inverse. The scene of the crime. Was that some real? I also don't know how to comfort people. Yeah, I feel like I'm relatively decent at comforting people, but I feel like it really took a lot of experience and a lot of just kind of like being able to like I guess train myself to like kind of build up that sort of like part. The scene of the crime. So, Inspector, what do you make of the crime scene here?
Bisha! Sha! You got eyes, do you? Use them! It's what it looks like. Nothing more, nothing less.
Iris, could you lend me a hand?
So, Gracie, what do you make of the crime scene here?
Oh yes, your ladyship. Do allow me to humbly explain. Last night, as shortly as an hour of 1 o'clock in the morning, Scotland Yard police attended the scene.
And the one and only door in the storeroom was found locked from the inside.
So it was locked from the inside. The lock appears to be broken now, though. Was that the police officers doing?
Quite right, ma'am, quite right.
We took the liberty of smashing the door in, as humbly as possible.
Oh,
As you can see, the victim was discovered prostrate on the floor. That's wise. And next to the aforementioned body, we discovered the vile gutter child.
are you talking about Ginny? She's my friend, you know, officer. Inspector.
Miss Lestrade, the hapless girl, was curled up on the floor, dead to the world.
She's still alive, you know. Yes. When I saw her, she appeared to be unconscious.
And I'm afraid to say, she had the gun that was used in her hand.
No. Presumably, it's the gun that's still down there on the floor now.
In her pocket, we found the key to the door as well.
What? The key to the storeroom? And you say the storeroom has been locked from the inside, Inspector?
Correct. All of which leads her ladyship's friend. In trouble of a sticky situation, I'm afraid. An oily one, too. Obviously, my personal opinion is that it's some sort of misunderstanding.
Of course it is, Inspector. Of course it is. Shows operation.
Gregsy, you know anything about Hurley? Is the operation finished? Is he alright? Is he?
The thing is,
Don't mince your words, Inspector. Please. You don't mean to say Mr. Sholmes is...
No! The operation's done and dusted. It's just that, well...
Out with it!
Ah! Yes, ma'am. They use something called a general aesthetic. It's the latest thing. Renders the whole body insensitive.
The whole body anesthetized? I'm not sure that's how that's pronounced. Is that even possible?
I mean, the operation can be completed while the patient is fast asleep.
Goodness. In the Empire of Japan, we just managed to provide laughing gas for a tooth extraction. In America, it's hard whiskey.
The trouble is, the latest thing isn't always the greatest thing, you know. If you know what I mean, wink. They couldn't get the medication to work at first, so it took hours for them to nod off, or so I hear. And now that the up's finished, they can't get him to wake up, apparently.
Oh my.
No one knows if it's the anesthetic still in his system, or if the bloke's just plain exhausted. But anyway, all they can do is stand back and watch until he comes back around.
Hurley.
The moment he opens his eyes, your ladyship, I swear, I shall get a word to you.
What a surprise. Even in matters of life and death, Mr. Sholmes has to do things his way. Guess I'll do some examination. Gun. He really liked to point himself. This at himself. This is a revolver. A real one. And quite possibly the murder weapon used to take Mr. Windibank's life.
What's the matter, Susie? You and Runo look like you're about to faint.
Well, it's just that I've rarely seen a gun in the flesh. And I've had issues with guns in the past. But anyway, we saw Mr. Windibank with this yesterday, didn't he? Ah. Oh no. It must be the same gun. And last night, when I looked through the spy hole in the door in the storeroom here, that was the same gun I saw in Gina's hand. Mr. Windibank told us that he only ever had a single bullet load in his revolver, didn't he? Oh man. Not when there's 6 that you can put in. It's empty now, but the only bullet he had in his gun might have been fired. Carrying Gina around bridal style would be fun. She looks very small, so I imagine, like, what's it called? I guess either like carrying her around or like, what's it called? Like, yeah, I think probably, yeah. That seems like a good time. So we can be fairly certain that only a single shot was fired from this revolver. 1 silver bullet into a well-greased chamber. Just as I expected from the same code word as the boss. He's 5'3", around 4 inches taller. So yeah, 5'3", I imagine that would be a lot of fun to be able to like carry around or throw. No, not throwing. That's fine. Sorry. Guess I'll click on this. The police have marked the position of the body with the chalk line. Don't make any comments about the chalk line. Gonna yeet Gina. Gina would be a lot of fun to yeet around. She's acting like, oh, you got, what's it called? I don't listen to no coppers, and then you just like pick her up and then throw. Man, Beef Stroganoff would have had fun throwing her. It would be like, oh man, I throw everybody, so I throw you too. She could take a Susato takedown really well. Like, kind of like how The Rock does, like, Stone Cold Stunners. Like, she could probably take, like, a, what's it called, a Susato takedown well. Bennett could have kicked Gina in the face. Not kick the baby. That would be rough. Well, poor Gina. Also, poor Mr. Windibank. He was a nice old man.
Well, he was shot just once, through the heart. Most likely, the fellow died instantly. Wouldn't have felt a thing.
And I was like, if it makes you feel better,
He was mean.
this must be his blood then. Sure isn't Chris's blood. Ah! I don't like to ask at such a wretched time, Iris, but I wonder if perhaps...
Don't worry, Susie. I'm ready for action.
Just that little blood, see? Ooh, blue. Blue blood. So now we know the color the chemical turns when it reacts to Mr. Windibank's blood.
It doesn't match our analysis of the blood stain we found in the main shop.
No. But let's add this sample to the others we've already collected already. You're a different blood. Iris?
Don't worry, I'm alright.
Why couldn't it have been a less ugly shade of blue? It was a very bright, like, kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog blue. I was like, this looks like the Sonic curry. Like, what's it called? This is like some, like, image floating around of, like, a pre-made curry that's, like, blue like Sonic.
But we must find the culprit.
Yes, absolutely. Every time I see the Sonic curry, I'm like, there's no way this can be real, but it probably was. Look at all these articles that have been deposited. The room is stuffed full of them.
I can't believe how many there are. A bicycle, a gramophone, music instruments, even some enormous paintings too. Pieces of different people's lives, quietly gathering dust in here forever. There's something very peaceful about the atmosphere here. Or at least there would be, if not for the dead body and all.
Not much I can do about that, Sunshine.
It's like,
Sorry, does it fit your aesthetic, bored douche?
look at all these articles that have been deposited. The room's full of stuff. Oh, that's just an extension. This one. What could have made Benedict so beautiful? In fiction, only hot-headed people have trauma. I'm curious what led him down a life of, like, trying to steal from, like, the pawn shop and running away. Pulling guns out on people. Out of all the articles in this room, oops. This is the only thing that shows us any sign of being ransacked. Ah! What is it, Iris?
That's the box file that my manuscript was being held in.
Oh! Iris's unpublished story. The Hounds of the Baskervilles. Surely that's not what all this is about.
Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you. We must check inside the box at once. Yes. Ah! It was there! Iris's story was there!
Really? It was?
Well, good news, isn't it, Iris? Yes. I mean, of course I believed Hurley when he said he deposited here, but still. It's a relief to actually see it.
Really? That's not a very well-hidden frown. Iris's manuscript has been entered in. Let's give it a read. Let's give it a little peruse. Can't find anything out of place. Oh, there's nothing to interact with. I was like, there. Oh, I guess it would be the title itself. There we go.
The Hound of the Baskervilles.
How did Susato know exactly what title this unpublished story had? I suppose it'll just have to wait until she's ready to explain to me.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's like we gotta wait until like the time says it's right. Oh, these are just the different ones. Oh, that's fun. The Wind's Cats. That's something I've examined. Gina's representation papers. On broker tickets. Yes. Alright. There's still one more little comb around, because it seems like I tackled just about all I need. I would just probably need to be at the front of the store then. That's the case. Come on. Come on. You got this. Man, I completely oh, there we go. I guess maybe move somewhere? You might miss what people say. Oh, maybe I have to talk to him again. Wait, no. Another examination, huh? Stereoscope. What if Susato knows? Because Herlock sent Wilson the manuscript since he's pals. Oh, she was probably like, she probably figured out a lot of Shom stuff because like her father knows him. That's actually really neat.
if that's the case. Oh, shit.
Is that what I think it is? Your ladyship's latest?
Yes, my latest story. It's called The Hound of the Baskervilles.
A most fascinating title, your ladyship. Fascinating. And, I don't suppose. Would there be any mentions of my humble self in the tale this time?
Good question. I can't really remember.
I see. Well, why would you, your ladyship? I'll just await this publication with eager anticipation.
You needn't worry, Inspector. I'm sure if you do appear, you won't be doing anything particularly remarkable.
You're looking to be arrested, Sunshine. You looking to be arrested, Sunshine?
I didn't mean it like that. And even if I did, you wouldn't have bitten her ladyship's head off, would you? Inspector Gregson, could you give me your opinion on this? What do you think?
We don't tend to share, Sunshine. Not with the general public.
In that case, Gregsy, how about some herbal tea?
Gotta get tea of my own.
Lovely. How very much. That really hit the spot, your ladyship.
You don't mind sharing that then? Inspector Gregson, can you give me a look? Don't share. Do not share. Give me tea. Ta very much. Do you think Susato has written a John Locke fanfic? A John Locke. I imagine maybe that she's probably had like. She probably would have really loved like the Doctor Who fan fiction, or the what's it called, the Super Who Lock trend. Inspector, what do you make of this?
What do we have here then? A redemption ticket for an article deposit here, is it? Someone read out of the office stationery and wrote ticket on whatever papers was handed. This is the ticket from Mr. McGill's overcoat. I wasn't trying to turn up with this today.
Oh, actually, no, it's not.
Really? Think you know better than me, do ya?
No, I didn't mean to, but, Bruno's right, Gregsy. It isn't the same ticket.
Of course it isn't. Of course it is. I never doubted you, your ladyship. So, what's this all about then? If I may be so bold as to ask.
This is a second ticket.
A second one?
It seems that Mr. Begilded, in fact, had another article of the storage here in the Windibanks.
Is that right?
I think we need to discuss this further with the inspector, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, good. Because he's ever so easy to talk to. Man, Ryunosuke is so sassy. I love it. This ticket was in one of the pockets of Mr. McGilded's overcoat.
You didn't mean to tell me?
Yes, there was more than just the music box disc, it seems.
I should have insisted on the lads taking it back to the yard and examining it properly.
Well, according to the details on the ticket, Mr. McGilded deposited another article here with Mr. Windibank.
Yes, I could see it written here. A small box, was it?
Do you have any idea where it is, Gregsy? Any idea at all? It's another article belonging to Mr. McGilded. It can be an important clue.
Growing of being birds twice. Ryunosuke's been dealing with far too much.
Yes, I suppose it could be. Please, stop looking at me with the big turquoise eyes, all full of hope and expectation. It's too much pressure.
There's no time for dog impressions, Inspector.
That's enough sauce from you, sunshine. There's one thing that springs to mind. A coroner's ticket. The redemption deadline's already passed, hasn't it?
Oh yes, of course. Articles are only held for 2 months.
So the small box will no longer be there then.
That's right. It's been forfeited.
Which means it could be on the shelves in one of the shops. In the front of the shop where the forfeited items are offered for sale. Yes, the shelves in the front. We must search them at once.
You're wasting your time.
Oh,
there are dozens of little boxes out there. Hundreds even. We can't possibly know which one might have been Mr. McGilded's. That information's not written in the ledger.
Well, I think we should at least have a look, just in case.
Of course, your ladyship. Of course. Very sensible of you, I'm sure.
This is getting old. Let's see, let's move up front. If we have to let it linger. I don't talk to you. Salmon. Yes, this is where all the items have been forfeited by the original owners or offered for sale.
That's right. They all got little price labels on them, but there's so many.
I wonder if the small box this ticket was for is still on the shelf somewhere. The box that McGilded deposited here just 2 months ago.
Even if it were,
finding it promises to be a very troublesome task indeed.
there are so many boxes, it could be any of them.
Mr. Shobe said the pawnbrokers was the safest place to store anything. More secure than a bank's vault. So perhaps this small box of Mr. McGilded's contained something very valuable, of very great value. Sorry, I need to keep my composure. Maybe some water on.
Well, if that's the case, he'd probably have it kept locked.
So then we need to find every box with a lock and break them all open. Hey, yeah! Oh no, I got Susato takedowned.
That sort of misconception would get you arrested. I won't let that happen.
This takes me back. It's been some time since Susato-san had last threw me. Oh, oops. Let's see. Look at the stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my pawn shop's complete? Let's see. I'll present.
Oh, my manuscript. Mr. Shum said he'd deposited at the window banks, and he had. But it's so strange. What is it about this particular story? I worked so hard on it. Why would Hurley say I can't publish it? I'm afraid I have no idea. All you can do is wait until he's ready to tell you, I suppose. Ah, maybe. It's because Hurley isn't in it enough. Maybe I didn't give him enough good lines. Yes, maybe. I wish I could say that definitely isn't the reason, but I can't. The way you can identify differences in people's blood like this is amazing. You really are a genius, Iris. I know, I am. If Hurley and I put our minds to it, I could really shake up Britain's chemists and alchemists. And you could shake up Japan's lawyers and judges, couldn't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, for sure. Even if I didn't intend to. Let's see, pawnbroker. This is an adorable little cat. I think it looks a little like Wagahai. I always thought that cats like to curl up inside the heated kotatsu blanket when it snowed. Maybe British cats are different. Actually, now that we have both pictures, I could have another go at viewing them as a stereoscopic image. So I need to cross my eyes and try to get two cats to merge in the middle as one. It's such a hard thing to do. Whoever thought of this in the first place must have spent a long time staring. Let's see. That's not it. That's not it. What could be the... Concentration. I guess that's all good. That's just another Susato takedown waiting to happen. Man, what if I just kept on choosing the Susato takedown option and just kept on getting, like, attacked for every little thing? Let's see. What could it be? What could it be? What could it be? Suicidal on trial for assault when? Yeah. It's like, this is so out of pocket. You might miss what people say. So I guess probably it'd be... Maybe I will try to present some of this other stuff. Would you mind if I showed you this, Iris? It's just a boring old thing, really, but... Oh, I don't really like boring things. Ah. It looks like Japanese modesty is easily misinterpreted by young Western children. I mean, who does like boring things? No one wants to be shown something boring. Come to think of it, you're always introducing me things says, this is boring but. It's a bad habit. You should stop. I'll be sure to let the entire population of the Empire of Japan know on my return. Let's see. Poor Ginny. It's all my fault, really. She'll be alright, won't she? In court tomorrow? I'll defend her with everything I got. So, she'll be alright, won't she? Am I bad at instilling confidence? We need Iris and Soseki to go to a cat cafe. That'd be a lot of fun. Them just kind of like being able to bond over their love for their mutual interest in cats. That's the old boring thing. It's the same thing. I figured I might just give it another spin. What is the dealio? Maybe if I cross-examine everything. This is the ticket that Gina brought in yesterday. Yes, I've been entrusted to her by Mr. McGilded 2 months earlier. An article deposited, one gentleman's overcoat. And on the other, a redemption ticket that was in the pocket of the coat. Yes, for a small box deposited 2 days earlier before the omnibus incident. Could that have anything to do with all of this? Have you looked at the fingerprints? Maybe that might be the thing. Oh, Oh, this one. Oh, thank you so much. Sorry about that. There's something rather troubling here. I have noticed. The red smear, you mean? Yes, it looks like blood, doesn't it? I wonder if Susato-san had picked up on that. Well, in that case... Yes, we need Iris. We should show this to her before you forget. They wanted me to examine the photo a little further. Thank you so much. Oh, that looks like blood. I would say it's from a gloved finger. Almost certainly a glove made of leather. Well, don't worry, Bruno. You can leave the rest to me. Pew. Purple. Oh man. That's 3 different blood smears. Look at that. Yes, it's a color we haven't seen before, isn't it? We simply must add it to the portfolio of blood samples. It could be an important clue. Although, it would be nice to find out whose blood these different colors correspond to at some point. The shade of purple is an exact inversion of the shape of green. Because the green one was on the calendar and like the blue one was, I guess, Windabank's. Well, this particular stain of blood. Oh, you have an idea, haven't you? Do you know whose blood this is? I think I do. Yes, I have an idea whose blood this is. Not from the color it turned, but with a little deduction. That's right. I think it's clear. Iris, you know as well? You first, Bruno. Who do you think it belongs to? Alright. I believe that this is the blood of... It's either Gina... I think it's probably... Oh my, you think this is Gina's blood? Yes, it was Gina who brought the ticket here to Windibanks after all. Sometimes the simplest answer is the right one. But Gina doesn't own any gloves at all. Oh. And Ginny wasn't injured either, was she? Ah! We're trying to work out who the blood came from, so we can rule out anyone who hadn't been bleeding straight away. Perhaps my answer is a little too simple. To think this through some more. Who do we know was bleeding at the time? I guess Thrice-Fired Mason was dying. Thrice-Fired Mason! You don't sound very sure of yourself the way you trailed off. Well, it was 2 months ago, that case. Thrice-Fired Mason mentioned. Oh, I'm sorry, Thrice-Fired Mason. You didn't deserve to be stabbed on an omnibus. Of course, I've never met the victim, so I'm struggling to remember his name. He was definitely thrice-fired, though. The victim of the omnibus case? Yes, his name was indeed Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason. But that would mean this blood stain was left on the ticket 2 months ago. Yes, I think it was. Gina brought this ticket here to Windibanks yesterday. Thrice-Fired Mason underrated. Man, he should have returned the second game with like a mask on. Be like, I'm the mysterious, like, fourth fired Mason. Fourth fired, like, basin. I'm suggesting the bloodstain was already on at the time. So it's a smear of blood from Mr. Mason that was killed 2 months ago. Something else is coming back to me now. Mr. McGilded was also wearing leather gloves that night.
And now I ask you, whose good-hearted soul would rush to help a little fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give me the handman a hand.
There's someone who would love a Thrice-Fired Mason return. It certainly does look like a leather glove thumbprint, this mark. But what we know that Mr. McGilded had no injuries at the time anywhere on his body. For which we can conclude that any blood on the glove belonged to the victim, Mr. Mason.
Mr. Naruhodo, you sound just like Mr. Sholmes. Minus the quirky slip-ups, I hope.
Oh, that was not...
Yes, I think you're right, Runo. Very well. Let's make note of this.
Details of the pawnbroker's ticket. The blood and anal cysts. Dong! Dong! Dong!
Ah!
Herlock confirmed quirky.
I nearly jumped out of my skin. How could Mr. Windibanks set such a wicked trap?
I doubt he set out to scare anyone.
Is that really the time? I think perhaps we should pay Gina another visit then.
Oh?
Her trial's tomorrow. We must establish whether or not you'll be defending her. I think we should ask her one more time. She may have changed her mind.
Man, I thought we already changed her minds. I guess we gotta change it again.
Don't you remember, Runo? You told her she could rip up the representation papers if she didn't want you to be her lawyer.
Really? I did say that, did I?
Yes, you did. The deadline for submitting the paperwork is fast approaching. In that case, we better hurry to the prison and talk to her again.
Move. Move out the way. Do you think you could carry Iris by her bow hair like purse? I imagine it might hurt her because like it's attached to like her hair. Unless like, what's it called? Her model makes it easy to like be like, oh yeah, like she won't be hurt if you grab her by like a bow. Because like I imagine like you pull something that has a tight grip of your hair and like that's gonna sting. It's gonna sting rough. Let me get some tea. Very much.
Ah, Gina, good. You're back. Ah. The police must have finished questioning her then. Oh, how was it, Ginny? Was it awful? Didn't bother me. Thank you for your papers you signed for. It meant we were able to investigate at Windibanks. Oh, right. Don't you want to know what we got on? We've been ever so busy. What's the point in asking? Won't change it what everyone's saying. That I did it. It's not. Gina, we came to ask for your final decision. Eh? What decision? About tomorrow's trial. Will you let me defend you or not? I must submit the paperwork now if you'd like Mr. Naruhodo to represent you. Right. I see. She's really lost her fight all of a sudden. But I know what it's like. The worry's just so hard to bear. Oh, alright then. Blimey, give it a rest with your eyes, Iris.
You know how Benedict's hair works and like styled it almost like him. It takes quite a bit of hair gel to keep it down, but I have thick hair. I imagine it probably would be kind of like just kind of either like getting a lot of gel and then making it a bit wavy. I got really lucky because my hair is super wavy, so I've been able to kind of like make it like really thick like this, but I know I guess for something like Benedict's, it might be a little trickier because it's a lot more matted down.
So come on then, fill us in, who done it? Unfortunately, we don't know that yet. You don't say. We don't know yet, Gina. But Mr. Naruhodo and all of us know that you're innocent of this crime. And while we haven't yet managed to work out who the real culprit is, there are a number of interesting facts that we have managed to establish. Oh yeah? Like what? Well, for example, the reason for you being there in the first place. I think I know why you broke into Windibanks that night. It looks like I'm gonna have to take some evidence that clearly reveals the reason and thrust it in Gina's face, or I could present it to her calmly. Yeah, maybe not thrusting anything into Gina's face. I guess I'll ask representation and then go on. Yeah, it almost seems like it's like multiple layers to get it in this dude's like kind of hair. Yeah, having like one layer down, one layer wavy, one layer down, one layer wavy. We already have the representation papers and other docs. All we have to do is hand them to the court clerk. That is, if you'll allow me to represent you in court tomorrow. Nah, don't bother. Ginny, rip 'em and chuck 'em, would ya? Them representation papers or whatever they're called. Not too voluptuous, no. This cell ain't fancy enough to burn. So what will you do in court tomorrow? I'll be fine on my own. I don't think you will be. Look, it don't matter. What's gonna happen's gonna happen. This is one stubborn pickpocket. You're trying to find these shits. We found this at Mr. Windibank's storeroom. The manuscript of Iris's latest story. Ah. Oh, right. Well, that's good then. Curiously, the storefront at Windibank showed no sign of being ransacked for items of value and the like. With one exception. The box file that housed this manuscript. It was you, wasn't it, Gina? Who broke open the box containing the manuscript last night. You were determined to find out whether or not the Hound of Baskervilles was really there. That's the real reason you broke into the storeroom last night, isn't it? Why don't you tell us what happened, please? Alright, yeah. This Baskerville story is the latest Shums adventure, right? But it ain't been printed yet. So I figured it's gotta be worth a fair few pieces of silver, right? Oh yes. At least 5,000 pounds. What? So you intended on selling Iris's manuscript, did you? No, Ginny, how could you? Wait, no, hang on. Of course I weren't gonna sell it. All I wanted to do was find out if the metal script, or whatever you call it, really was there or not. That's the only reason I was there in the first place. For Iris's sake. Isn't that right? What? We knew you'd done it from the start, Gina. Of course we did. I knew you wouldn't do anything mean like that, Ginny. I just knew it. Well, when I saw the manuscript in the storeroom, it reminded me of what you said the night before. The grown-ups, they lie. You have not realized lies. Oh man, this is long. It's so surreal hearing this without me, like, reading along. Oh, Ginny, that's so sweet of you. Alright, alright. I'll tell you why I did it. Just stop looking at me like that, Iris. It weren't because of Iris. It's not why I did it. I just wanted to know the truth, that's all. You wanted to know if Mr. Sholmes was being honest. If he really deposited the manuscript at Windibank's. It's like I told you the night before. I never had a father. But Iris' lot ain't like mine. She's got a dad, only she can't see him. And I reckon that's gotta be Ada. That's why she writes the stories. They're really about a dad, really. That's what it sounded like to me anyway. Last night when I was listening to what you were saying. Stories about daddy. You mean they're not the adventures of the great detective? So much as the adventures of a great detective and his trusty partner, right? Well, that's how I see it, yeah? You're so thoughtful and so kind, Ginny. Yes, we never thought of anything differently, did we? Look, give it a rest, will ya? I hate this chummy nonsense. You hear? I hate it. I don't trust no one, right? That's how it works. So if you don't trust no one can let you down. So leave me alone. Go on, Scapa. I hadn't noticed until now, but it's unmistakable. Right there on both sleeves of that overcoat are some very suspicious red stains. What? Why are you looking at me like that? I think it might be worth presenting some of your other findings to Ginny right now. Oh, Gina. The stains on the sleeve of your new coat, Gina. They're blood, aren't they? Not that I know whose blood yet. What? Blood, Mr. Naruhodo? You don't appear to have any obvious wounds yourself, though. So could it be blood spattered from Mr. Winnebank when he was shot last night? Let's not beat around the bush here. This trusty friend of mine will get results much faster than anyone else. Take it easy, Iris. Don't move, Ginny. I'm gonna shoot. Oh man, crime scene again. Oh fuck, that's purple. That's the one from... It wasn't the one on Winnebank. It wasn't the one on the calendar. It was the one on the letter. Oh my. What the... Forget the sleeves. The whole coat is covered in blood. Of course. The black color of the fabric was masking the stains. That's why we hadn't seen them until now. And the blood has reacted with the chemical to turn a purple color, which matches one of the samples that we collected perfectly. Yes. Now let's see, who had the purple blood? Aha, yes. It was the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, the victim of the murder case 2 months ago. I knew it. What are you on about? The victim? What you mean? Poor little Gina. Sweet little baby, I'm holding her. I feel like this expression always breaks my heart when I see that of Gina. She looks so caught off guard and distressed. It's a rather uncomfortable situation, Mr. Naruhodo, but I think it makes things quite clear. It means the omnibus case is finally solved. The truth about who really murdered the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, is revealed. Oi, will someone explain what's going on? Stop telling me half the story. We can see now the victim's blood is all over Mr. McGilded's overcoat. But in the trial 2 months ago, the defendant said this in his testimony. Now I ask you, oh, that's the same shit. Bleeding from his stomach. It wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves. The purple is an inversion of green. Oh, and if you look at this overcoat now, it's clear. These stains couldn't have arisen from Mr. McGilded trying to pull the victim to his feet. No. If that was what really happened, the blood wouldn't have splashed all over the front of the coat. The only explanation for this pattern of blood is that it splattered over McGilded's coat when he stabbed the victim in the stomach. I've tried to run from the truth for long enough, but there's no escaping it now. The true culprit in that case, Mr. Mason's killer, Magnus McGilded. Mr. Naruhodo, that horrible case is solved at last. And I helped that man walk free from that trial. I used all that twisted testimony and all that sham evidence to prove his innocence. How could I have let that happen? Bruno, did you believe him though? Did you believe Mr. McGilded was innocent? I believed. Or rather, I think I was trying to believe. I wanted to. Because believing in those you represent in court is a defense lawyer's greatest weapon. A weapon? Before we came to Great Britain, a great friend of mine taught me a valuable lesson. You mean Kazuma-sama?
Listen, Ryunosuke. We lawyers are only human. We can't know for certain what is the truth and what is a lie. Which is why we must resort to our primary weapon. An unwavering belief in our clients. That's all we really have. Well, I think you're packing a little bit more than that, Kazuma. Unwavering belief. Only when we can truly believe in what our clients tell us can we fight with everything we have for our cause and for their cause. In any battle, there can be no victory without faith. So I believe you, unwaveringly. Oh, he believes in me. What's funny, Gina? Oh, sounds like in this empire of Japan you come from, everyone must be soft. Well, come on. Look at the mess it's gotten you into. Believing in that. Oh, I'm not gonna say that. Yes, I inadvertently helped a murderer walk free. Well, at least you learned your lesson now, eh? Believing in people's never worth it. Someone always stabs you in the back at the end. As soon as you let your guard down, you've had it. Kazuma, thanks for giving Ryu trust issues. Thank you for making my job as a defense lawyer more miserable, because now I realize that believing in my clients means defending people who are absolutely guilty. Take a relief out of my book. Believe it or not, Believe no one, get hurt by no one. Gina, may I ask you something? What? I'd like to make absolutely sure. What would you like us to do with these representation papers for tomorrow's trial? How many times do I have to say it? Rip them up, chuck them away. Are you really sure that's what you want? I bet that's what you want on all now. I'm Mr. Believer Lawyer. I'm a believer lawyer over there. I'm a believer. Don't forget, it was me in that trial 2 months ago. I let everyone in the garden path, didn't I? And you're telling me you can believe in me after that? Not likely. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, a lawyer's primary weapon is an unwavering belief in his clients. Ultimately, it comes down to whether or not I can trust Gina after everything that's happened. I will not! No, I'll trust Gina. I know she didn't do it. Gina, let me say it again. Please allow me to represent you in tomorrow's trial. You have baked? Not at all. You've not once admitted to committing the crime, have you? What's more, I believe that you're telling me the truth. Ah, the main menu music. Seriously, Mr. Naruto? Didn't you hear all of what I said before? I'm a born liar. Fibs just trip off me tongue. And I'm a diver, don't forget. Making a Sweeney Todd AU, where my version of Toby is Ryu's client. It's gonna be fun to write. Oh man, having to investigate like Mrs. Lovett's pie shop. Man, I love Sweeney Todd. It's so morbid and morose, but it's also like very like flowery and like showy. It's kind of like the perfect like, I guess to me it's like the perfect like almost like embodiment of like the magic of Broadway, where you can have a premise that's so like morbid, but also like really super just kind of like campy a bit.
Pulled the wool over your eyes 2 months ago and got you in all sorts of trouble. Why would you ever trust me now? I just don't get it.
Guess who's Sweeney Todd in this AU? Let's see. Is Mr. I guess it would maybe it would be Mr. Benedict, because he's somebody that like pulls out a gun and like is very much a little like, what's it called? Someone who's quick to fly off the handle, just like old Sweeney, old Benjamin Barker.
Gina,
What?
I do understand why you chose not to put your trust in others, but I assure you,
There is more to this life than you realize.
what do you mean?
The world we live in is full of people who would do very well to trust. People who won't ever let you down.
This city's full of people waiting to be good.
It's true, I'm just a student of law, and I'm certainly lacking in courtroom experience. But I can promise you this, whatever happens, and until my very last breath, I'm completely by your side.
Oh, nope, it's Barbager from the Gilded Case. Oh, what's his name? Oh, the knife-licking dude. Oh man, he was intended to be a Sweeney Todd reference, so I'm gonna go reference. Oh man, I actually really like that dude, the knife-licking dude. That's all like down with the bourgeoisie. Man, that dude was awesome, and he had a really good point. And that dude was a soothsayer, because what's it called? Mr. McGilded was greedy as sin. Completely on your side.
What do you expect me to say to that? Then it's decided. We'll take these papers now and carry out the necessary preparations for tomorrow. It would be a shame to throw them out now after it's been penned with your name so beautifully. Do what you like. You Eastalada. Oh, I know what you are. I don't get you.
Gina's taken herself off the back of the cell. She'd never admit it, but I hope she's relieved. It turned out alright in the end, I think. Whoever's hiding here, show yourself at once. Eavesdropping is the height of cowardice. Miss Usato, somebody in here is in here from the shadows. I can sense it. Someone who wasn't there before. What? Blimey, you're sharp, eh? Oh, it's you. I suppose you were using one of those mystic Japanese arts, like the art of stealth I've heard so much about. What do you take me for? That I magically know ninjutsu? If anyone was being stealthy, it was you, asshole.
Gregsy,
Oh dear me, I'm most terribly sorry, your ladyship. I didn't mean to startle you.
how long have you been listening to our conversation?
Go ninja, go! Man, this morning I was really kind of jonesing to get like, I guess looking to see if there was like a cheap Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, cause like I saw some like GIF online of like, I guess an episode, and I was like, man, I kind of miss this series. I should see what that's like again.
Good grief, I'm listening in. No. I just got word. And there were some guests here who were refusing to leave, even though it was after hours. I tell you, ladyship,
I'd only just arrived. This very minute. Not a moment earlier.
That's all it is. Nothing onward. Nothing at all.
After hours? It's that late already?
So then, I humbly excuse myself now, your ladyship. Ta-ta, toodaloo, cheerio, all the best. Bye, bye, bye!
That's a lot of farewells. And not one of them appropriate for her ladyship.
Oh, but I wanted to have a chat.
I'm terribly sorry, but time's pressing at the minute.
Oh, I see. That's a shame.
If I don't get this emergency at the Supreme Court dealt with sharply, Lord Strongheart will... oh well. Emergency? Lord Strongheart?
Nothing. Forget I said anything. And then, I'm off.
Alright, Grexy. If you have to, let's chat soon.
Delighted. Charmed. Can't wait. If you please. My pleasure.
That's a lot of pleasantries. And not one of them sounded sincere. Grexy's so funny. He says such silly shit. Certainly entertaining to see an inspector of the police fawning over a 10-year-old girl. Oh man, someone check his hard drive. Police! I mean, he is the police, but police! FBI, open up! Interpol, open up! Inspector Zenigata, check in on this guy. Chun-Li, anybody. But anyway, I wonder what this emergency is at the Supreme Court. I must attend to the court's clerk now, before it closes. Yes, of course. Thank you, Mr. Sato. Kindly escort Iris home now, Mr. Naruhodo. I shall meet you there later. Would Iris be a gacha kid? I imagine since she likes like little like kind of picture, I guess the stereoscopes, I imagine she probably would get a kick out of like kind of like collecting tickets and such, or collecting like, I guess sort of gacha, especially for stuff like Fate where it's like cards. And it's like, ooh man, I got like a 5-star card and this one's a rarey. So our investigation came to an end. Susato-san went on file for the papers in defense of Gina for the following day. And then it hit me. I could no longer suppress the wretched feeling that had been gnawing away in my insides. Tomorrow, Susato-san would be leaving. Leaving Britain, making her way to Japan. It's the 16th. Oh man, that's the day that Tintin gets saved. Naruhodo-san, it's been a trying day, hasn't it? I hope you're not too distracted. Well, in these trying times, I usually grab an egg. But what about you, Susato-san? Today's been even more trying for you, I'm sure. Mr. Sholmes was shot before our very eyes. Gina was arrested. All in the back of news that her father had fallen ill, and that she must return to Japan at once. I hope your father recovers soon. Thank you for your kind words. I wonder why it is. That so many thoughts rage in my head like a storm. And yet, I seem unavailable to find the words to express any of them. I know exactly what you mean. Anyway, I have one final task to complete as your judicial assistant. Once that's done, I can make preparations for my departure tomorrow. One final task? I'll be right back. I have to go to the restroom a sec. Shouldn't be too long. Alright. We back.
Alright, going back to Japan.
It's just 2 months since we arrived in London, but we managed to establish this office. It was finally freeing, as though we were settling in. I would be lying if I said I felt no regret. I'm so sorry, Susato-san. It's just so sudden. I really don't know what to think. I had no time to gather my thoughts. I know we've only been here a short time, but in my limited experience at the courtroom, I feel like I've learned something.
And what would that be?
It seems to me that there's many facets to people's personalities.
Facets?
And like a jewel, the light plays off of them in complex patterns, illuminating their actions and their motives. But we see only a small number of the total facets, and what is illuminated is only a part of the whole story. What lies in the shadows? What do those facets that we can't see look like? Perhaps there are some parts will never lay eyes on for as long as we live. That's so true. Sometimes I feel as though I'm blind to so much. But I keep hoping that one day it'll all become clear. That all the facets will be illuminated. And I'll finally understand how everything fits together.
Naruhodo-san.
I suppose what matters is that we all keep our eyes open and keep moving forward, even if the way sometimes seems dark.
It's amazing to think it's just been 2 months. You've grown so much.
Sorry? I've what?
Oh, no, it's nothing. Unimportant.
Do you know what time you'll be leaving London in the morning?
Yes. I picked my ticket earlier. I shall be leaving here at 4 a.m.
I see. Well, I'll escort you to the station.
Absolutely not.
Sorry?
I'm sure you realize why I couldn't possibly let you do that. You have a very important day ahead of you tomorrow.
Gina's trial. Yes, I know, but
every word you utter will have potential to determine Gina's fate. You must get as much rest as possible. Even though, like me, I'm sure you'll find it hard to sleep. But please, for me, do try.
You mentioned one final task a moment ago. What did you mean?
Oh my, I nearly forgot. Please, I want you to have this.
What is that? Some huge bundle of documents.
It's my notes from the case 2 months ago. The murder that was committed on the omnibus.
The Gilded case.
It seems to me the case of the Windibanks murder, of which Jean is accused, is very much tied with that omnibus case, in ways that we are not yet completely apparent. So I took the liberty of consolidating my writings about the case for you.
With everything else she's had to think about, Susato-san still managed to do this.
And all neatly laid out for me in her beautiful handwriting. It was my pleasure. I can only hope that it will bolster your case tomorrow for Gina.
Thank you so much, Susato-san. I'll do my best to use it wisely. You really are the best judicial assistant in the world.
Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry to say that I've been a complete failure.
Sorry? I didn't quite catch what you said there.
Oh, ignore me. I was just mumbling to myself. Well, it's getting rather late. I think you should go to bed now, Naruhodo-san.
I must finish packing my things up in my room. Susato-san, I wish you the very best of luck tomorrow. Good night. Wait! There's something I need to say. What? What was that? A secret technique of mine. The Susato shutdown. Shutdown? Fashion Week in its shutdown. Please, I implore you. If we have to voice our goodbyes, I won't be able to hold back my tears. Susato-san. It truly had been a trying day. On our feet for hours, getting Gina to open up to us, and learning the truth about that nemesis of a case. Physically and mentally, I was exhausted. Yet the idea of sleep felt impossible. But I forced myself to close my eyes. And as a cacophony of scenes and of our lives here in London played out through my mind, eventually, my fatigue triumphed, and I fell into a deep sleep.
I wasn't sure if they were going to break it up by like making like the what's it called? Like the save spot show up like immediately. Yes, I quite understand. That is a great weight off my mind. Oh. Rest assured, I shall put everything into place, exactly as we had discussed. Thank you so much. It's been an honor, and a pleasure to be acquainted with you, Mr. Sholmes. On the contrary, the pleasure has been mine. I bid you farewell and Godspeed. My dear madam. To be continued. Alright. I think I might go like one more hour, and then we'll see how I feel. I felt. When I awoke the following morning, Susato-san was already gone. Outside the window, a rain came down in sheets. And so began an even longer day than the last, one that I would remember for the rest of my days. I made it right to the courtroom. That old damn Bailey. I like the worst, like, burps.
Good morning, Gina. I'm determined to prove your innocence today. I'm sure we can do it. So as your friend then? Sorry. You know, her in the fancy dress. Susato, or whoever you say it. However you say it. I don't know. Miss Susato had to leave early this morning. She was already gone by the time I woke up. You're alright with that, are you? Forget about me if you like. Go and see her off. It's fine. It's not as though Miss Susato and I won't meet again. One day. Even so. But you, Gina. You only get one chance. This trial today is all we have. Good morning, you two. Let's see.
How you feeling, Ginny? You managed to sleep?
Iris, what you doing here?
What do you mean? When a friend's in need, we show our support. Isn't that right, Waggy? Oh, Waggy.
Great way to show your support, kitty. Let him have a nose around. What can you do?
Oh, that reminds me. I brought a paper on the way here. Now, would you like the good news or the bad news? What do you say, Renad, Ginny?
Oh, well, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first. No, I always take the good news first. You know, you might not live to hear the bad.
Yes. That question always gives away people's personalities.
Let's not go there.
Alright then, let me give you the bad news first. A record amount of rain has fallen this morning, and carriages all over the capital are struggling to move.
Huh? The bad news was a weather report?
So I hope that Susie made her train over to Dover, that the train's not delayed on the way to the port.
Gosh, yes. Alright then, so what's the good news?
Well, the rain is forecast to subside this afternoon. So even if the train's delayed, it should be able to make up for the time later. Well, that is good news, isn't it?
I couldn't give a monkey's, really. Only all good news canceled out the bad.
And look, the trial made the headlines too. Pawnbroker perishes in purse plunder. See?
How'd you like that? Let them say what they want, see if I care. I can't because you're covering your face.
Don't worry, Bruno will show everyone the headline's nonsense.
I will?
And then in tomorrow's papers, the headlines will be... Your storage diver is dauntless do-gooder. Isn't that right, Bruno?
Oh, yes. Let's hope so.
Of course they will. I have absolute faith in you. How was it? I was trying to sound like Susie. Did it work? Did it?
It's like she's still here. Today's paper has been entered in.
Good luck, Bruno. I'll do what I can. Obviously, I don't know the law like Susie, but still. I'll be by your side the whole time, giving you moral support and encouragement.
I'm not sure that big thing is as comforting as you think it is, to be honest. But... thank you, Iris. It's very kind of you. Oh yeah, Iris.
Yes, Ginny?
Well, I was wondering is all. About Sholmes. They fix him up alright?
Yes. The operation was a great success. But Early still hasn't come around yet.
What?
I asked a friend of mine at the Scotland Yard. Send a telegram as soon as he wakes up.
I'm sure Gregson will let us know the moment there's news. Oh, right. No Susato-san. No Mr. Sholmes. It's all down to me today. To prove that Gina's innocent of this crime.
Gina Lestrade, counsel the defense. The trial is about to begin. Please make your way to the courtroom.
It's time then.
Yes, let's go, Gina. Iris?
Lead the way, Bruno.
Oh, hello, Kirby. How's it going? The trial just started, so I'm probably have another hour before I head out. Poor Gina. She's trying to put on a brave face, but I can tell she's worried and scared. I have to believe in her from start to finish. That's the weapon that'll be securing our victory today. If I learned anything from my great friend, It's that...
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. The trial shall determine the guilt or innocence of Miss Gina Lestrade. And now I call upon the counsels of the prosecution and the defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready.
Lord Van Zeeks,
My lord.
remind me, how many years ago was it that you withdrew from the public prosecution service?
It was some 5 years ago, my lord.
Yes, and then 2 months ago you surfaced, somewhat unexpectedly, and here you are again. Are there some circumstances in which the court should be aware have led to this erratic behavior? In what one might describe as your former life 5 years past? You dealt exclusively in matters concerning with the higher echelons of society and government.
Really?
Yet today you choose to try a simple case of burglary and murder. I confess I find it to be a little more befuddling, counsel.
There are 2 types of person I cannot abide. Firstly, those wealthy scoundrels who hide behind the mask of philanthropy to cheat the public at large. He means Mr. McGilded, who you defended against the Reaper 2 months ago. Yes, I just about managed to work that out, thanks. Magnus McGilded. If I'd known what a monster he was, I never would have defended him. Yeah, it's the what's it called? Austin Powers' dad thing. It was like, there are 2 people I can't stand. People who are intolerant and the Dutch. It's like, there's gonna be something racist. I know there is. If one is Magnus, the other is definitely like, what's his name? Either me or Natsume, both of which being Japanese people. And secondly, and even more loathsome, those wily scoundrels who masquerade as allies only to effect total betrayal in the final hour. In other words, the confidence tricksters from this tiny little island of far east. What the fuck? Van Zeeks really laid it on thick. He's really the worst kind of people are Japanese people, and it's like, what? Why? What? Did he really just say that? He means you now, Runo. I actually managed to work that one out too. Thanks. Total betrayal? What are you talking about? That's the quickest someone's been racist in a courtroom. In this courtroom especially. Baroque needs another swirly. That torrent of hatred in Lord Van Zeek's eyes. Was that directed solely at me? Or was he talking about all Japanese people? An alarming, scathing explanation, Lord Van Zeeks. That was very offensive. Still, the Judiciary welcomes the return of the so-called Reaper the Belly, fueled by all of London's malefactors. Your lordship is too kind to not call me out or disbar me for my racism. Now, jurors, the 6 of you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. The racist of the Bailey. Oh man, Garadeb's back.
I'm a lieutenant of the British Army here, don't you know? Chaps like me were born ready. Clean crockery, clean cutlery, and a clean consciousness. My lordship's motto is very appropriate here, I think. Everything will be stereoscopic in the future. Absolutely, absolutely everything. And I'm ready for it. I don't understand it. I can't have left it here. It's not possible. How could I have?
Garrett, the father ever. It's good to see Garrett, especially my dad says some awful I'm sorry about your dad. I feel so bad. I'm at least glad that Garrett here. I like to do Garrett's voice. He has this fine, just posh, like,
of course, really. A woman indispensable to society? Stop. Female-centric future awaits. Stop. Good day. I am visiting London for street sightseeing. I would like to take the bus to Crystal Tower, please.
Is something wrong, Bruno?
oh, not exactly. It's just... I'm fairly sure I recognize these jurors. Almost all of them, in fact.
Really? Funny coincidences like that do happen from time to time, don't they?
Man, everyone has jury duty in this. It's always the same people that get roped into jury duty in this place.
It's quite strange. They're chosen at random from London's 6 million inhabitants, you know?
So I've been led to believe. But something tells me I'm being duped. Very well. Now, Lord Venzeeks, the court calls upon the prosecution to introduce the facts of the case.
As you wish, my lordship. Allow me to begin a word of warning to ladies and gentlemen of the jury. In short, there has never been a more self-evident case of a cold-blooded murderer. The victim, Mr. Pop Winderbank, proprietor of the pawn shop on Baker Street, was shot from behind and died instantly. The prosecution presents its photographic print of the crime scene. As the court will observe, there was a single bullet wound just below gentleman's left shoulder. The evidence suggests that the bullet pierced the man's heart, resulting in instant death. Moving on, the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner. His report states the bullet entered the body of a rising, diagonal trajectory.
And what's that supposed to tell us?
It means the victim was likely shot by somebody significantly shorter in height than himself. Someone like the accused, you might say.
The prosecution wishes to present the autopsy report and the crime scene photography. Indeed, the court accepts. Hand them to the bailiff, please.
I now ask the court its attention to this plan in the establishment where the incident occurred. The proprietor was found in the storeroom where we kept articles pawned to him. A windowless room with a single point of entry. A door to the main shop that was found locked. In this sealed chamber, there were only 2 persons present. The victim, Mr. Winderbank, and the accused. It may further interest the court to know that when the accused was discovered at the scene, she had in her hand the bullet used to fire the fatal bullet. The gun, my bad. Well, right out there, isn't it? Nothing more to say.
Isn't that the grubby little girl a pickpocket anyway? She's one of those filthy tramps that lives in the slums of East End. Oh well, only a matter of time before she got blood on her hands then. What jury's waiting for? Guilty girl.
We can't jump to conclusions here. We must assume her guilt because of what she has to do to survive.
My learned Japanese friend, it is you who mustn't jump to conclusions.
The prosecution has barely begun presenting its case. Conveniently, this appalling act of murder did not go unobserved. Good gracious. After the testimonies, this girl's true nature will be exposed. Pitiful pick purse or cold-hearted killer? Here's to establishing the truth. The court will take the floor plan and firearm into evidence. Hand them to the bailiff, please, Lord Van Zeeks.
At once, my lord.
This isn't good. I feel like the mood here has turned gloomy all of a sudden. I think that's because it has.
Let us begin. Bring forth the witnesses of the foul murder of Mr. Pop Windibank on 16th April of this year.
These dudes. The dudes that were definitely doing crime shit.
Witnesses, state your names and occupations. Name's Nash Collin. Occupation is, baddie. Professional baddie. Professional baddie.
My name's Ringle Skulkin. Occupation's, same as him.
Tobias Gregson, Scotland Yard investigator.
Sulkins. The guys ever Skulkins.
That's right. Where are they, Carl? The three Skulkin brothers.
What are you looking at me for? Don't lump me in with you lot.
God blimey, that's cold. Don't you know what we're going through?
It's our older bruv. Lost contact with him we have. We scoured every street, corner, shady corner of the capital.
And then last night, we come across you. Very spite of the bloke. Ain't that right, Ringo?
He is, Nash, he is. The very spirit of him.
So we decided that what it was gonna do, we was gonna call ya.
Big bruv Skulky.
Come on, leave that out, you two.
Skulky Skulkin. And that's before he's run out of chips.
Well then, Inspector Skulky Gregson.
Begging your pardon, my lord, but my name's Tobias.
What would I like to know, Inspector, is that what you're doing in the witness stand.
The Skulkin brothers are currently under arrest, my lord, on suspicion of theft.
Thieves, are they? These three?
No, my lord. No.
No, my lord. Begging your pardon, but please don't lump me in with this lot.
2 nights ago, these brothers illegally entered the establishment with the intention to burgle. Skulky never existed. He was made up when the Skulkins were kids, and the Skulkins believe in their third friend. Well, that's really cute. And they ended up just latching onto Gregson as, like, the mysterious third Skulkin that they made up as an imaginary friend.
In the course of their nefarious activities, they became embroiled in a far more sinister crime.
By Jove, you mean to say, what an extraordinary coincidence.
Indeed, my lord. While attempting to burglarize the pawnbrokery, they've witnessed this proprietor's murder.
This Skulkins and his childhood friends.
Order.
Oh shit.
The various trespasses of these brothers is not subject of today's proceedings, though they will naturally face trial in the very near future.
With your lordship's permission, I'd like to remain and stand to keep these gents on the straight and narrow. Of course, Inspector. Skeptical as I am about the caliber of these witnesses, I will permit them to take the stand.
Mr. and Mrs. Skulkin, you will now testify before the court. Describe the events of the night in question and what exactly you saw.
Happy to. Cause the Skulkins never skulking. River.
We was walking down Baker Street in the small hours, and the gaff door was ajar, see?
It was like some kind of sign, begging for us to go in, but
But once we got inside, call blimey, Lummy, we had a shot from the back room.
we went to was what? But the door was locked from the inside.
We never done nothing, Gov. We never took nothing. We just left and had a nice and quiet.
So I was trying to do like an Oasis kind of dynamic with the Liam and Noel. Who just made like these insulting caricatures.
A terrible coincidence, it would seem. And at the precise moment these miscreants entered the proprietor of an even more sinister crime was afoot.
The witness's testimony is consistent with the crime scene in every detail. The door providing access to the storeroom from the main shop is indeed locked from the inside. Within only the victim and the accused were found.
I must say, it does appear to be overwhelmingly simple. Still, the defense may cross-examine the witnesses now, of course. Counsel, if you please. Counsel?
Yes. What's the matter, Runa? Sorry, I was just stunned in the silence for a minute by the blatant lies being told by that pair in the end. I know it's all nonsense because I saw it with my own eyes. I'll just have to expose their testimony for the pack of lies it is.
Let's get that fifth one. Y'all did shits. I will press you on the shit that you done did. So you didn't do or take anything. Is that your story?
Well, it was bedlam soon as, wasn't it?
It was, Nash. It was. Didn't even have time to pull them dukes out me Lucy lockets.
So with no time to take your hands off your pockets, you just left? Nice and quietly, you say?
That's right, Governor. Nothing we had ain't more than violence. Peace-loving nibblers we are, not bludgers.
We are, Nash. We are. Never even pull out me dukes on me Lucy lockets.
So you'd clearly like us to believe.
Come again?
If you fled from the pawnbrokers that night, did you not run into anybody else? And did you not fire a gun at that person?
Say it's alive. They fired a gun, you say?
Ah! Blimey, governor.
You ain't telling us it was you on the doorway.
It was.
Why the bleeding Nora?
Did you not mention that before?
You were armed with a gun. And as you fled the scene, you fired that gun at London's greatest detective, Herlock Sholmes.
They shot the great Sholmes. I didn't hear that, actually. There's a rumor he'd been rushed to the hospital. The great Sholmes is beyond the pale.
On the night in question, this pair were arrested by the police within minutes of the discovery of the crime scene. Their suspicious countenance rapidly gave them away. And when searched, a firearm was indeed found in their possession.
Huh? What?
Furthermore, the barrel shows signs of shot being fired from it.
Oh!
The prosecution invites his lordship to explain the firearm recovered from these brothers.
Yes, indeed. Remnants of powder found around the muzzle. The court will hold this weapon as evidence.
Are we getting the wine out? Now, my learned Japanese friend. Yes? Here's to your successfully presenting the evidence. For yes, there are telltale signs of spent powder on this gun, and a single bullet missing from the cylinder. But the prosecution demands evidence that it was fired at the scene of the crime under scrutiny in this trial. Well, I don't need evidence, because I was there. However, the rest of us in this courtroom were not. If the defense fails to provide evidence in support of this rash claim, we shall have no choice but to toast your incompetence and move on. Evidence that these two fired that gun before they left the Windibanks that night.
The court demands all claims to be affirmed with proof. Why evidence shows that these witnesses unloaded a firearm in the pawnbrokers last night.
Let's see. Look at those blood samples. It's the first, the second, the third. I guess it would be this first guy, right? Yeah.
Take that!
The evidence is in this portfolio.
What on earth do you have there, counsel?
During the course of our investigation, we discovered the number of bloodstains. Not trusting the police to do the job they're trained to do. How arrogantly Japanese are you? What the fuck, man? Well, anyway, we analyzed all the blood samples we found and recorded the results in this portfolio.
And you claim to have evidence this court is demanding there within?
Yes, my lord.
No more dallying then, counsel. Present the pertinent evidence at once. What do you have in your portfolio that proves these witnesses unloaded the firearm at the scene?
He would be this first dude.
Take that!
What is that? Explain.
It's a photographic print taken at the Windibanks pawnbroker on the day of the incident.
From the scene of the crime, is it? Is that a bullet hole? And if my eyes don't deceive me, it appears the bullet is still lodged there.
Yes, as your lordship noticed, the bullet pierced Mr. Windibank's calendar. The date shown being the 16th of April, the very day of the pawnbroker's death.
The incident occurred at 1 hour after midnight. This incident that indicates a separate shot had been fired sometime after the calendar had been set.
That's right. And while it isn't irrefutable, the defense believes this is credible evidence that the witnesses did fire a round from their gun at the pawnbrokers that night.
No!
Order. How does the prosecution stand, Lord Van Zeeks?
If that is the direction my learned friend wishes to take, the prosecution has no objection. What? But you'll forgive me for flinging my hallowed chalice aside in disgust at the repugnancy it exposes. Yes, on the night in question, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery illegally. And, like the bold baddies they claim to be, they opened fire on the new arrivals before fleeing back onto the street.
Huh? Hey, take it easy, Governor. You're gonna land us in the soup.
We are a deal. You ain't gonna tell again the details.
Tell him, Skokie. Set the bloke straight.
I have nothing to add.
So he knew, did he? Van Zeeks knew their testimony would almost certainly expose the extent of their crimes. It would seem now I will take credit to everything my learned friend has said, and I owe my learned Japanese friend a word of gratitude. What do you mean? What I mean is that you have helpfully confirmed an important fact.
To what fact do you refer, Lord Van Zeeks?
As it's been established at the point of their arrest, a single shot had been fired from the brother's gun. However, if that shot found its target in Mr. Sholmes, then clearly these witnesses cannot be accused of the fatal shooting of the proprietor and the victim. Huh? In other words, these two men have no material connection to the murder of Mr. Winterbake at all. So that's it?
That's it. We haven't done nothing to do with.
We ain't Nash, we didn't. That's what I reckon.
Your crimes include unlawful entry, intending to steal perjury, and, let us not forget, attempted murder.
Quite a catalog, eh, fellas?
Hey, fellas. We're in it now, bruv.
Now then, let us take a moment to consider the aforementioned great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. There's a detail I noticed about the calendar I don't mention. I watched over 20 to hard to keep track. I don't know if I mentioned this in this. I guess, what's it called? I guess with the specific calendar, it would seem the man patronized the pawnbrokers and the questions somewhat irregular. Where is he going with this? Mr. Sholmes appears to take pleasure in tinkering with eccentric machinery.
Eccentric? Says who?
Not me. Don't give me that look.
He installed a pair of machines like this one in the victim's shop. Ah, that one's Hurley's red-handed recorders.
What is it, Counsel? It has the appearance of a photographic contraption.
As your lordship has surmised, it is indeed a camera attached to the small timing device. Every half an hour, it automatically photographs the interior of the establishment. The idea being that if the thief were able to break into the shop, he would be caught red-handed. The prosecution has obtained the photographs taken by the device on the night in question. As the court will observe, copious identical prints are produced in quite desultory reaction.
Rather prodigal, I feel.
In fact, there are 2 such devices in the victim's shop, my lord. If I may refer the court to the plan and the premises, their respective positions are here and here.
You say these cameras produced a print every half hour. I'm afraid I fail to see. How would that help if the anticipated thief conducted his activities in one of the many 30-minute intervals?
One can only pray that the would-be criminal lingers, my lord. On the night in question, the witnesses currently in the stand were not caught on the camera.
That's a bit of a friar's tuck, eh, Gov? Lady Lux loves a skulking.
Witness it.
Witnesses, at what time did your trespassing begin?
Must have been after 1, right, bruv?
Must have been, Nash. Must have been, yeah? Yeah, just this one now.
In which case, minutes before these brothers entered the establishment. What scene did we expect to see within the shop? Let's examine the evidence.
Good lord, it's the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
As the court can clearly see, the accused was pictured gun in hand facing the victim over the shop counter. No doubt coercing the proprietor to open the door to his storeroom.
Quite. One can only too easily imagine the events that unfolded. The court will take this photographic print as evidence, if you please, counsel.
I don't believe it. Ginny.
In short, the accused is the only person who could have possibly killed Mr. Winterbank.
I say, my lord.
Wonder if I might put a word at this moment.
Go ahead, Mr. Foreman.
Took a bally bullet to the knee in the Battle of Maiwand. 1800, don't you know? Decorated in that and all, but forced to retire from service, sadly. Of course, a medal can never outshine the exploits of chaps like us on the battlefield.
Yes, Mr. Foreman, and what exactly is your point?
Carried on the battle after retirement, you see. The battle of daily life, if you like. And here I am now, leading a small squadron, 6 men, all good and true. But we all go down together, you mark my words. One for all, and all for one.
I need a drink.
A hard one. Ladies and gentlemen, the jury have reached agreement, have they? Is that what we are to understand?
Well, Mr. Foreman, is that correct?
In a manner of speaking, yes. That is the Garadep squadron's position, sir.
What? No! It's too soon to make a judgment here.
Status report on the court, men. On the double.
His lordship insists on promptitude at all times. And that goes for making decisions, too. I think you'll find the truth as clear as day now. I could reach it out and touch it.
I would never lifted me. I just would. In all honesty, I can actually remember.
I remember how Gyarados always self-deprecating to try to avoid his accomplishments. Did you notice how every time he tried, his wife would pour tea on? Oh no.
I'm very sorry for your brothers. They are unlucky.
There we go. Trying to avoid every time. And now that she's been arrested, he's bragging non-stop. He's growing and healing. Now he's talking about his battlefield exploits.
Very well. I call it bound to learn the matter.
Now it's your considerable verdicts at this point.
Guilty.
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 It's more of like, guilty.
Okay. Blimey.
It doesn't dare believe that they are actually all guilty.
That photograph. It must be the definitive evidence that Gregson mentioned.
But Ginny didn't shoot him.
No, of course not. My lord, the defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination. You know it. You know what I'm gonna ask for. 'Cause it's what I always really love to ask for when all the jury says I'm guilty. There's only one train at the station. It's a summation examination.
Very well. The court grants permission.
Fuck! So you refuse to admit defeat again. How unsurprising.
We got Old Man Jury 3 times. We never see Barber again. We down with the bourgeoisie. We don't believe in the stinking rich.
My foremen, are they all members of the jury ready?
Absolutely, sir. Always ready for action, my chaps.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, will you each explain what grounds you have to determine the defendant to be guilty?
Jurors' contentions.
All this evidence clearly points the finger of guilt at this young pickpocketian.
As a housemaid, I should like to see all filthy eyesores promptly and rigorously eliminated.
I think you'll find that it looks good on the photograph on the stereo. The truth will just come out.
If I had to rep in here, I should think there should be repercussions by now.
My debate up, stop. Global radio transmission of verdict to follow, stop. In the motherland, we say we'll never judge by claws, judge by head. I am convinced brothers are innocent.
The circumstance of the crime and the evidence do indeed implicate the defendant rather comprehensively.
The storeroom were locked from the inside, by which the victim and the accused were discovered alone. And in the accused's hand, the fatal revolver, the firing of which was heard by these witnesses.
Not to mention this print. Take it from a chap who's seen action on the battlefield. That girl and girl's on the verge of pulling that bally trigger.
Thanks a ton, Mr. Sholmes.
Oh dear, Curly's cameras were supposed to help, not hinder.
I'm afraid I think you have an uphill struggle ahead of you.
But Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windibank. Which means there's more to this situation we've yet to see.
Agreed.
I have the floor, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination.
Alright. I think I'm gonna finish up after I finish with this jury. All the evidence is clearly pointed. As a housemaid, I should like to let me press. Polishing the bench, I see. A maid's work is never done. Not a blemish must be seen. What exactly do you mean by filthy eyesores? On my way to market for his lordship, I happened to pass through the East End. The place is full of beggars, pickpurses, and crossmen, the scum of the earth. A little harsh, perhaps. Let me be plain. If it were up to me, all those back slubs would be made spick and span over advocating for genocide. You are fucking wild. At least we have people like the great detective working to achieve these important goals. You're referring to Mr. Herlock Sholmes? That's right. I like to keep abreast by his exploits by reading Brad's magazine in between my duties. He does wonders cleaning up London streets. In my opinion, he should be declared an honorary maid of the capital. Mr. Sholmes, a maid? It really is quite unforgivable. Gutter scum having the audacity to shoot our greatest detective. Minor detail. It was the two brothers in the stand who shot Mr. Sholmes, not the defendant. A minor detail indeed. All gutter scum as far as I'm concerned. Well, it might just be an idea to get our facts straight anyway. Yes, alright, I shall amend my statement. Those brothers are scum of the earth. They should swing to shooting the greatest detective. I know the dude at the end really liked that guy. So I think I'm going to pay it with you. The brothers are scum of the earth. The motherland never judged by the clothes. The brothers are innocent.
Objection.
Those two statements clearly contradict each other. The classes maid versus the eat the rich barber. Fight! I'm calling for the brothers to be hanged. The proletariat versus the bourgeoisie.
Good lord. Counsel, explain yourself.
Oh my, the statement? Contradictory. Contradicts. C-O-N. Juror number 6, you got the wrong end of the stick. I do not have stick. I have mouse. As juror number 2 said earlier, when the Skulkin brothers fled the scene on the night in question, they fired a shot from their revolver. Yes, they shot poor Mr. Holmes in the abdomen, I understand. Surely you're not going to tell the court now that you didn't hear. Abdomen. Marcia Saxon and Barbara, my favorite jurors. Oh yeah. I remember him from like the second like boat case, where he was like the guy that fled, the assassin guy. Abdomen. Abdomen. ABD. Sir? Sorry, my English is still at it. You are telling the court you didn't hear? Forgive me, I did not hear. Here's the word, abdomen. Part of a person's body containing stomach and other vital organs. If this is what you mean, you should say it in plain English. I am Russian, not a native speaker. Picard. Who would have thought it was a good idea to let this man be a jury again? So, you are telling me these brothers who look like criminals were lying? They said before, he never done anything, but truth is, they shot detective, da? This is double negative. No, yes, that's exactly right. Lying is wrong, especially when lie is said by a person who looks like criminal. Coming from you, that seems surprisingly prejudiced. The person picturing the jurors is insane. All of these people are nuts. This means When they say we never took nothing, maybe that's also a big fat lie. Is this true? Well, according to the police report, no stolen goods were found, so...
Enough. I trust no one now.
It's not the mouse's fault, though, sir.
I must see with my own eyes. I must investigate crime scene myself.
I'm afraid that won't be... Yes, it is, Bruno.
Easily.
Sorry. With prints from Hurley's recorder. Aha. You compare the print that pictures Ginny and the next one from a half hour earlier. You'll be able to see straight away if anything was taken or not.
Cooey, Mr. Prosecutor.
Tut tut. Calling on prosecution in the middle of a summation examination of all times. The print showing the accursed threatening the victim after she broke into the shop is this one. Following this, the criminal and the accused moved into the storefront. Meanwhile, the Skulkin brothers entered the shop and summarily heard the fatal gunshot ring out. Sadly, none of those events were captured on film. After the print was captured after the brothers' fight. Be from the future case where all these people never wanted to be there. They just got roped into it. So this was taken after Hurley was shot then. No positive experiences in the courtroom.
As far as I can tell.
Nothing has been taken. That does seem to be the case. Can't notice anything that's obviously missing.
So the brothers who look like criminals only told one lie.
They shot men, but they stole nothing. It would seem so, yes.
Good.
No, not good.
You were right. I misunderstood situation. Now I know brother lied. I think it's very important to continue a trial.
Do I have a Discord? I feel like I'm still kind of working on it. I think maybe by the time I get like closer to affiliate, I'll probably get a Discord up and running. But at the moment, I'm so small, so I don't really have one set up at the moment. Like I do have an account, but I haven't had a channel like set up.
Hey, well done. The balance is shifting.
Well, it's a start, I suppose. But there must be more in what these jurors are saying that I can use to expose evidence. And if I could do that, we might just turn the tides of this situation. Thank you, counsel. Continue with the summation examination. I think I might like bow out for the night. I'm starting to get really super tired. It's really starting to hit me a lot more. I guess a lot of the drowsiness. I drank a lot of herbal tea, so a lot of it ended up like kind of just making me super tired. But I can't wait to return to this. This is really suspenseful. It's a really good time. One more save because I'm paranoid. Let's see. And thank you all so much for coming along. I know that it's, you know, progress is still relatively slow on the channel. I know that, like on Sunday, I'm kind of like, I guess usually doing a lot more kind of like experimental stuff. Like usually a lot of RPGs. I wanted to show the screenshot of how we were just saving the pain of the steel heel as you step on. That's wild. Man, I'll need to find that at some point. But I'm usually active on Twitter and Tumblr as like my main kind of like social media accounts that I kind of alternate between. But I know soon I'll try to get a Discord up and running. But yeah, I know things are gradually sort of starting to come along. I'm still kind of like waiting on a rig to be able to get like a model hat, like kind of sort of up and running and ready.
I do have an overlay set up, and it's so exciting, but I'm also waiting on the live 2D before I like end up rolling it out. But that's a very exciting one. I don't remember if it was a fan translation or not. Because I remember there's like a difference between a regular and like the translation here and like the fan one. Because I feel like when I was looking up this stuff, when I wanted to learn more about like Pat and Rolly, I feel like a lot of people were referring to like the fan translation towards like, I guess, her being a much more like prejudiced character that we weren't like, I guess that wasn't really shown as like thoroughly in the original one. But like I really want to look into like what the fan translations were like, just to kind of like almost like cross reference like the differences and how the characters were like portrayed in like maybe the earlier people, like around like 2015 or 16 when the games came out originally, versus like the people now that are just kind of going through it and have a completely different outlook on a character. But I'm gonna head out now. Oh, I like the fan translation. They made Benedict's Rupert. Rupert is such an unattractive name. Yeah, I feel like when I think of like a British Rupert, it'd be like probably like Rupert Everett, like the actor from My Best Friend's Wedding. But like, yeah, I'm gonna head out now, and I'm going to poke my beauty marks, poke the mic, send out all kinds of positive vibes, and lead you on to wherever the next stream that you're going to watch will be. But until then, I'll see y'all. Bye.